moving in, realizing where one is, going for some shots, but this is very difficult. He wants to try and push it. Does get down on one, does get a second one. Cerberus still continues.
Subscribe untuk mendapatkan info dan update terbaru dari PUBG PC Indonesia.
It's going to mean that Dano now has to reposition, figure out how they're going to do this. Soul was playing down to the south, watching in the ravine, and now he has to come up and try to reinforce TMA, who's playing this much more aggressive. They walk up. Helen holding the line, though, has got to try to find this, and yes, TMA does get eliminated, but it got dangerous there for a second.
Big kills, 10 for Danawa, now 17 under pressure. Finally, Cerberus pushes out and wipes him out with 2 mollies. Goodbye, 17. Cerberus versus Danawa, a 4v3. Danawa has the high ground currently. Cerberus knows it. They're trying to push the edge of this hill as much as they can to stay underneath the sightlines of Danawa. Leave one back of the shack to try to cover.
10 kills for Danawa right now, and they're about to have a very similar situation what we saw just a moment ago in Cerberus, trying to move up that hillside. You saw that they knew how to defend it a moment ago. A lot of this is going to be able to about like rotating, stepping forward, taking some shots, letting one of your teammates take some damage, and then letting another one come in to try to finish it out, as they're going to be looking down this hillside, trying to figure out what they're going to do, as we're still at Circle 7, so we still have another one to go.
Yeah, Circle 8 is going to dictate this fight quite heavily, and it shifts towards Danawa. So the center of the circle is on top of this hill, which means Cerberus has to fight up it. They have quite a few smokes in the bag, so they might be able to get some towards the top of this ridge line potentially to try to cut off Danawa's vision up close and personal. And Soul is trying to, find the angles on the outside salute as well to try to see if they can really isolate where every member of Cerberus is. I love that they're being diligent, making sure they're checking that far southern flank. The spray from Solalzi, pretty decent. Tries to go for another, misses with the follow-up.
Yeah, now his position is revealed. Maybe that could allow Haisaki to make a move. Danawa is now stepping away from this angle, realizing where the assault and the threat could come from. They do not want to get flanked, so now separating out Tycon, playing that low position, does have the blue that's going to be coming in back behind him, and he is going to be the one that's trying to find an angle, but Danawa is not going to give it. This is just very smart map play coming out from Danawa. Yeah,
this is kind of what you would expect from a team of this caliber that has been, doing really well at global events for the last couple of years. See if they can lock this down. I mean, you've got that superstar Tycon down there for Cerberus, who could be, really monumental, instrumental in this fight coming up, as now the smokes are starting to come out. Yeah, I like what Cerberus is doing here, trying to cut off the close sight lines of Danawa, really limit their vision, allow you to get up and around this hill, and Haisaki looking for the flank. It's going to be important for Helen to watch this.
Danawa now holding multiple angles into this. Tycon did manage to regroup, so it's a 2-1 push coming up from Cerberus. They are inside the zone, but it is going to be that center dot in the next circle controlled by Danawa. Helen gets some vision on what's happening. These smokes, they are blocking out a lot of vision, and they're kind of funneling Danawa into a specific angle. Tycon still moving down there, as well as really Danawa is kind of stacked up right next to each other. They've got their backs right up against the wall, but they're still in a good control position, with Cerberus now being much more of a line just down that hillside, prodding, poking, seeing if maybe there's some weak point, but Danawa's not giving it to him.
Yeah, no, Danawa's smart here. They don't need to push up and over this hill line at all to peak. They can wait this out. It's just a matter of making sure that everybody's on the same page. Your communication is good.
There we go.
You're able to isolate, identify targets, and wipe them out as quick as possible. So more smokes being used here by Cerberus, but they already committed so many at the early part of this fight, Matt. They weren't able to capitalize on it.
Cerberus has actually gotten center dot control now. With the Danawa playing so far back onto this up against the wall, Cerberus now has an easier track in, and Danawa, I think, has realized this. Now they've had to shift down to the south, and it looks like they're just trying to make sure that they keep some type of cover. It's still going to be Helen to the north, and it looks like he's playing more aggressive. If he goes down, it's still going to be a 3v3, but that flash is going to connect in, and Cerberus read that clean.
Yeah, well, they were trying to hide Helen down here. He's getting a little bit too aggressive for my taste.
Yeah.
He's going to get taken down. This is a pivotal mistake here by Danawa. There was no reason for Helen to get aggressive there. He could have hid at the top of that hill and waited this out.
Maybe that was some type of bait, because it's allowed Danawa to shift
what it was.
down
You're right.
in more.
It was bait, but he overplayed it.
So now Soul playing in this angle for it, seeing if maybe he can open this one up. Cerberus still lined up next to each other. They don't know exactly where Danawa is repositioned. They've lost some vision in those smokes as well. So Danawa now leaning in. Soul has a good idea on how the push is going to come out, as both teams right up next to the dot, trying to make sure that they get control over this one as the zone is closing in, and it's just going to continue to crunch down. Yeah,
the flashes start to come out here from Cerberus as they want to gain more and more control over the center. A lot of smokes having to be used by both teams to make sure that it's a DMZ in the middle of this, a no man's land, and so far so good, as now Danawa is going to try a bit of a re-rotate, see if they can watch this valley on the other side.
This is so terrifying with this much smoke down, Molotovs going everywhere. You can't even walk into smoke that you've placed because you don't know. You could just be walking, set yourself on fire, and that can turn the entirety of the game. Utility now starting to come out. Sloop gets the vision of what's happening. Tycon does go down, turning this into a 3v2. Hisaki now moving in, realizing where one is, going for some shots, but this is very difficult. He wants to try and push it. Does get down on one, does get a second one. Cerberus still continue to go up. It's just going to be Soul. He's looking down into this firefight. It is a 2v1 situation. He's committing in, trying to use his teammates for bodies, but no, it's going to be Cerberus that picks it up.
Oh, Hisaki there with a spray transfer of his life to get 2 kills onto Danawa and break things open. Patient play from Cerberus.